Forgive me if I'm not looking correctly into the camera. I'm doing this from my iPhone. This video has been a couple of years in coming. It's something I have been preparing for since my decision to have weight loss surgery in October 2015. I'm going to try not to ramble or go too slowly in my speaking, both of which I have a habit of doing. So my first videos, when I started making videos on YouTube in 2006, about a year after it came out, they were just introspective video blogs, what I think about this, what I think about that, when I was young enough to think my opinion mattered. Here we are, a couple of years down the road, had some life events happen, took care of my parents. Basically, I grew up obese. A lot of my earlier videos talked about this, then I stopped talking about it. And I started doing tarantula feeding videos, and then I stopped doing that, and then I did nothing. And I've been preparing videos for over 5 years now for this moment, and still not sure when this video I'm making today is getting uploaded, but it is Thursday, February the 4th, 2021. I might get a little emotional in this video, and I'm going to do it deliberately, allow you to see it, because I am documenting the effects and ramifications of super morbid obesity. Not just 100 pounds overweight, we're talking over 200 pounds overweight. Basically, I think I became aware that I was different than the other kids when I was sent home in 2nd grade and told that all the other kids weighed 40 pounds and I weighed 80. There are reasons for this. I lived in Hawaii at the time, which is a melting pot of cultures, but largely Polynesian based, and they celebrate food. My formative years were there. That's a lot of what started me off. Fast forward to I'm about this February 2015. I walk into the doctor's office, standard checkup, find out that I am 397 pounds. And I'm like, oh, but no. And it was the thing that finally made me do what I needed to do to get the gastric bypass surgery, even though I was scared to death of it. And then I had a very, like most people, I almost failed. I almost failed the bypass. The first year, I think before the surgery, I got down to 370 because they made me. They wouldn't do the surgery if I didn't. And losing 20, 30 pounds, you can do it, but then you're just going to gain it back, right? Which is the problem. It's not necessarily losing the weight. Sometimes you can lose some of the weight, but it always comes back. That's the issue. So I ended up working on that, got down to about 370. 2 days before my surgery in October of 2015, I made a 33-minute video. And I did not have any makeup on, and it was raw. And I watched it yesterday or the day before, and I cried for that girl. I cried for her. And there's some reasons I cried. Here, you know, I'm trying to hurry because I don't want to ramble the way I did before. Today, I'm 5'7". I'm 49 years old. I've been working on this weight loss thing and losing an average of 25 pounds a year. I have fought and fought and fought. The first year, I think I lost 50 pounds. That was it. 50 pounds. And I had someone tell me they thought I wasn't going to make it. They thought I was going to be one of the statistics that just, you know, don't make it. And they were right. I almost didn't. But for whatever reason, I just kept fighting. I just kept fighting. I wanted it so bad. I felt like a failure. Here I was. I did all this crap for the bypass. I was barely losing weight. Then I hovered around 320 for a while. I hovered around 300 for a while. It took a couple years. I was almost like between 270 and 300 for like 2 or 3 years. When I got down to about 270, 275, actually, in April of 2017, that would have been about a year and a half after my surgery. And remember, surgery day, I was down to 370 from 397. I'm 5'7", by the way, if I didn't mention. So 370 on the day of surgery in October 2015, and here it is a year and a half later, April 2017, I'm 295 pounds. I've literally lost in over 2 years, I've lost 100 pounds, but it took me 2 years to get that 100 pounds off, and I thought I was doing good. I was so happy to be under 300, I couldn't hardly stand it. And then but I was a long way from done. You know, I'm still in a size 20, 22 at this weight. And, you know, instead of 3 and 4 X's, instead of, you know, starting to look at tenths. So it was still an improvement. Then my mom dies, and she only gets to see me get down to about 300. That's all she got to see. And what you have to understand is from about 2000 to 2017, when my mom died, a couple months after, you know, I spent my life in those years taking care of my parents and living in a 30-foot travel trailer for half of that, over half of that. From 2007 to 2017, I lived in a 32-foot travel trailer so I could take care of my parents. And I don't say that out of pride. I'm just saying that I thought at the time, when I moved into that travel trailer, that it would be like a fishbowl. And because it was small, I would shrink down to fit. This is my theory, but it didn't happen that way. Instead, I just kept getting bigger. And I was 378 in 2007 because I had to get weighed to start working at my current employer. They made you weigh, and they'd take a physical and things. And today, it is February 4th, 2021. I am literally just about 6 years from the day I decided that I was going to have surgery because I was 397 pounds. Today I weigh 200 and, my last lowest weight was 211, but I weigh 218 today, and that's because I often go up and down 5 to 10 pounds at a time, and I will yo-yo 5 to 10 pounds, but I always go back below it because I'm constantly on top of it. And that is why it takes me a year to lose 25 pounds. So at this rate, I've got about another year to go. Maybe a little more. I currently weigh today, like I said, 218. But so about 100 and, if you go by the lowest weight, 211, which is all I document, I don't document regain. Because it's not staying, and I've been that way for 5 years. But I have a documentation in my diet log. I deliberately did not wear makeup today so that you can see my skin and my face. Lighting does make a difference. You know, I get in closer, I look better because the lighting. I go back out, I look better. But somewhere around midway, you can see all the lines and the shadows. And I can't pretend I'm not 49. But I was so raw in the first video, and I'm going to be raw again today. I want you to see the real deal, not the prettied up version. You see my hair? It looks fairly normal now, but the first 3 years, I lost about half of it. And it's still not quite what it was before. It's still a little thin right in here, but it's taken about 5 years to get back to any sort of normalcy, because your hair takes, you lose hair with this thing. When I checked my Fitness Pal, it said I had lost 46.8% of my body weight. I am currently in a size 12 to 14, which is below the American average female size of 16, which means I'm considered a normal size female, even though I want to get down to either 180 to 190, even though my maximum BMI is supposed to be at 159 for my height. Something I talked about with my doctor, because I do not want no fat at all. So we all know that people that lose over 100 pounds have excess loose skin issues. I am no exception. I may at some point show my loose skin. I'm not doing it today. Google any sort of image on Google Images for excess loose skin, and I guarantee you that's what I look like under my clothes. I look great in clothes today, but nobody wants to see the Shar-Pei skin rolls out of them, including me. Am I going to have skin surgery? I honestly don't know. I have rashes in certain places, bumps and things that form from the loose skin folding in on itself, ingrown hairs and things like that all over various places in my body, and that is kind of miserable. I'll take it any day, including the aesthetic issues, over the absolute sheer torment and pain of being super morbidly obese. I'm 12 minutes into this video and I haven't even talked about what I really want to talk about, because I've had to introduce the topic. And this video is not going to be for people who swipe through and have ADD. It's going to be for people who need to hear the whole story. Okay, it's been 5 years, 6 years in the making, and so it might be a little longer. And then after that, I'm going to post the video from 2015, from 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago, so that you can see the difference. Okay. So, some of the ramifications of being super morbidly obese when I was 397 pounds, and I talk about a lot of that in my previous video. But here I am on the other side of it, considered normal, even though I still clearly have 40, 50 pounds to go. Even though I have some weight to go, and I do not intend on letting go that last 20 pounds. I need it. I want it. I'm keeping it. That may be strange for other people to hear, but I have to have it. I need it. But only 20 pounds or so. I don't want more than that. All right, so I actually wrote a list of some of the things that people don't realize the super morbidly obese go through. I don't have 10 numbers to give you. I'm not interested in popularity. This is simply documentation for the edification and knowledge of the world, and hopefully to help someone somewhere that maybe I didn't go through all this in vain, right? Sorry, I'm a little emotional. I have been trying to make this video for a year or better. The first problem with the super morbidly obese, particularly when you're out in public, and almost all of us do this, is you can appear to other people to be mean or disinterested or angry, and here's why, because you don't look at people. Here I am, a size 12 to 14. Men look at me now. Okay, I notice it in the time it takes for me to look up, sweep, and notice that some male's head, or maybe it's a female, I don't know, because I'm not looking, is turning towards me and trying to catch my attention, and I don't even make eye contact. I sweep right past them. This could be an old lady, it could be an old man, it could be a child. Well, maybe a small child I might talk to, you know, because children. But to this day, I haven't figured out if eye contact is like flirting with someone. Or are they gonna, if I'm nice to someone, is that flirting? I don't want to flirt with them because, spoiler alert, I actually am in a wonderful relationship right now. That's the other thing. Well, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, I made some bullet points because if I don't, this is going to ramble really long time. So, appearing mean or disinterested. People may think that you're, and the reason is you don't want to engage with people, right? You don't want to engage. You don't want their judgment. You don't want to see the look in their face when they look at you, because you're like an alcoholic who's been an alcoholic for years, or heavy, hardcore drug user that's maybe not made the best choices. You can see it in the lines of their face and the way they carry themselves. With super morbid obesity, everyone can see your pain. They may not know what they're looking at, but they can see it, and they know something's not right because they avoid you, or they'll be your friend, but some people will be your friend, but most people don't want that kind of unhealthy environment in their lives. And when you're in it and you're the person who's super morbidly obese, you can't fathom that or understand that. To you, you're just you, right? But then when you're on the other side, you're like, oh, they didn't want their children watching me eat massive quantities of food and thinking that was normal. Oh, they were concerned because I can't keep up on the activities that they enjoy doing, so we have different interests because I'm physically not capable of doing XYZ. I've gone into places and had adult strangers comment on my weight or my appearance. And there's a lot of introversion involved because you don't want to be judged, and you know absolutely everyone is judging you. They're judging you. Even if they don't say anything, even if they smile at you, in their head, they're thinking the same thing about you that you're thinking about yourself, even if they say they're not. Or they're thinking, oh, that poor woman, how miserable she must be. That's the best case scenario, is that they have compassion towards you and their heart hurts for you. That's best case. Normal scenario is, good God, look at that woman. She's massive. What the heck? Baby, turn, look at that. Or telling their children not to stare. When you have small children that have no filter turn and stop to stare at you, you have jumped the shark with your weight, because they don't stare at 100-pound women anymore. Maybe when I was a kid they would, but it's so common these days, just regular morbid obesity. Obesity and regular 180, 100-pound morbid obesity is very common in America these days. It is not like it was when I was growing up, where I was like the only one. You know, 1 or 2 fat kids in school. Not anymore. Our prosperity is doing us in some ways. Anyway, you avoid human contact. And also, since the advent of the internet, anything online related is going to be incredibly appealing to a morbidly or super morbidly obese person, because they can be judged strictly on their personality and their abilities online and be whatever they want to be. Even if they're telling the truth, you can still project parts of you that you want to project, right? You only get part of the picture of a person online. I should know, because I spent most of my adult life online because I fit in nowhere else because of my super morbid obesity. The other thing is, people have this idea that fat people, morbidly obese, and super morbidly obese, for those who don't know, morbid obesity is 100 pounds overweight. Super morbid obesity is 200 or more pounds over 100 pounds overweight. I don't know where you start getting over 200, just like, oh my God, I don't know. Anyway, people think you're lazy. It does come off that way, and you know why? You know why it comes off that those people are lazy, that we're lazy? Because of the sheer amount of effort it takes to do anything with your body. And if you don't believe me, go get you a 100-pound backpack and situate that weight, or some weight, situate it however on your body you want, and then spend a day getting up and out of a chair and walking around, just 100 pounds. Then try 200 if you can manage that, and you'll have a little bit of a slight idea of why really large people avoid getting up all the time. I could not walk up 3 steps without being seriously out of breath for several minutes. Getting up out of a chair was miserable. If I had to bend over and get anything off the floor, here's how it went. Hold my breath, get some momentum going. I got to get over my belly, of course, which is way out past my boobs. Down to the floor, hold my breath because I cannot breathe while I'm doing this. And bring out this stuff. And then I am panting for a couple of minutes, and I am sweating. And it's gotten terrible. You don't walk because the fat between your thighs won't let you walk. You have to waddle. You have to waddle. You know, because you can't. You've got your freaking thighs are packed with fat, and they're sticking together, and your bones and muscle are rolling inside the skin and fat because your thighs are glued together even though you're wearing pants. You see where I'm going with this? It's humiliating in multiple ways. I walked at 397. I had to lean forward a little bit when I walked, and I could only waddle, shuffle about half the speed of a normal person. Every small walk felt like a nightmare. The pain in my feet, ankles, legs, hips, my back, my shoulders, and I'm out of breath, and people are staring at me because I'm 400 pounds and waddling. At certain points, I had where I fractured my foot one year. I was in like one of these jazzy electric chairs for a while. And I thought that was great because I could go anywhere and not be out of breath. And then I realized, I had a handicap parking decal for 8 years, and I was scared as crap to give it up. I gave it up this year. I was so scared to give it up because walking on asphalt and concrete can be difficult on the discs. I have moderate disc degeneration, my age-related degeneration in my back. I'm sure the weight didn't help. You're hot and sweaty all the time, summer and winter. No matter where you go, it's never cool enough. You're always sweating. You better have a little fan with you because your body is generating so much heat just to keep you alive. I never, from childhood up, was able to cross one knee over the other. At 249 pounds, I managed to do it, but it was really, really hard. But I was so proud of it, I took a picture and put it on Facebook. Shopping. Oh, my Lord. I hated clothes shopping like you would not believe. It was a nightmare. The only clothes you get available are grandma clothes. I thought they were normal, but I've been informed over the years by multiple men that I wear grandma clothes. So that had to change. When you're out shopping, you're sweating profusely just trying on one item, and it's hot in there always. No, it doesn't matter how cold it is, you're always hot. You can't hardly get shoes because very few of them come in wide widths, and they're not made to support 400 pounds. They're not going to give you the support you need, and if they do, they're going to break down soon. There's the depression, the anxiety issue, the fat shaming. Am I against fat shaming? I don't do it, obviously. I mean, do I laugh at fat jokes? Of course I do. I laugh at anything that's funny. I always have, even at 400 pounds. If a person told a fat joke and it was funny, I would laugh and repeat the joke because it's funny. I don't, you know what I mean? But now I'm a little more careful because I'm not as big as I was, so I can't really get away with it, right? I used to be able to get away with it because I was huge and nobody would say anything to me. Nowadays, they'd be like, but I'm still fat, so 211, that is not a normal body weight, so I've still got some ways to go. You get overlooked in society. You get overlooked sometimes for jobs, not always. Usually my personality would get me through there, but I was younger, I had more vibrance. You don't fit in. Your social standing is different. The things, you can't do the things the other women can do. Hot guys are unlikely, almost any guy is unlikely to look twice at you. And the men that do look at you, the vast majority of them have their own issues that prevent them from being able to get a quality, healthy-minded individual that isn't, if you're seeing somebody 200 pounds, that person has severe depression issues. I don't care what they tell you or what they say on social media. If you are 200 pounds or more, somewhere in the middle of the night when it's just you and you alone and there's nobody there to bullshit, you know in the deep core of you that something's going on. You will have introverted behavior because you don't want to be judged. So people will take you as cold and disinterested when that isn't it at all. You're just hurting so bad you can't. You're hurting so bad inside that you cannot do what you need to do. People do not understand what you go through with the ostracization, with being stared at. Unless they've been there, and they can't possibly have been there. Thank God they haven't, because I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I'd rather be dead than go back. You always feel unattractive, but then again, a lot of women do anyway, so you can't really go by that. But when you're that obese, yeah, you can fool yourself into thinking you're pretty for a fat girl. If only you were thin. Yeah, I heard all of that. And you can say, and other people are like, oh girl, you just flaunt it, big and beautiful, blah, blah, blah. No, not big and beautiful. Big and unhealthy, wearing the fact that you've got issues, that you're struggling with mental issues, that is on the outside of your body and you can't hide it no matter what your little words say. And I can say that because I've been through it. Okay, I've been through it. I'm on the other side, I'm not where I was, but I am aware every day that if I am not vigilant, it's going to go right back, because most people fail and regain all of their weight with these surgeries. It is a tool, not a fix. And if you don't use it, it's not going to help you. Sorry, I know it's going long. I'm rushing as much as I can. Eating out, social events, you never know at 397 pounds if you're even going to fit into the booth, because I have been places, they've tried to seat us at the booth and I couldn't fit anymore. We had to leave the restaurant or either sit at a table with a chair or something, and that was uncomfortable too. There's no crossing your legs at 397, so your knees are wide apart, and that's just how life is for you. It's always been that way. Nothing you can do. You're always thinking, how far am I going to have to walk to get to XYZ? To my job, to my car, to the store, to some social event someone wants you to go to. Is there going to be chairs you can sit in where you're at? Oh my gosh, what if I have to go upstairs? There's no elevator. These things have affected where I've done business with my banks or everywhere else, if I could get in there or not. You know what I mean? There's no parking out in the back of the parking lot and walking to the front door and just, sucking it up. No, that would be entirely, I'd leave and order whatever I needed over the internet. You're always wondering at 400 pounds, am I going to be able to find some place to sit where I'm not going to break a chair? I have broken chairs. You have low stamina for everything. You're always hovering on the edge of diabetes because of your food and drink choices. You've got this vicious cycle of constantly eating, overeating, thinking about food, desiring to eat, and why? Because you want that pleasure, and it's the only pleasure you can get. Nobody wants to be with you because you're so unhealthy and fat, unless they themselves are unhealthy and fat, or you got really freaking lucky and managed to land a quality individual that would have you. You've got smell from your skin, sweating where it's sticking together, and you've got skin rashes, it's folding over. If you need medical services, you're straining the system because they might need more people to put you in an ambulance. Regular hospital beds might be uncomfortable and might not even support you. Your fat creates sensitivity in some body parts, like my upper arms where I've got all this loose skin. All of this, right? This is muscle right here. And all of this is skin hanging down. All of that is skin, right? A little bit of fat in it, but mostly skin. And I can't use a blood pressure cuff. They have to take my blood pressure and put the cuff here because anything constricting this is super incredibly painful. And a lot of the skin that is stretched out is incredibly thin, like an old woman's skin. I have not gone through menopause yet, so I shouldn't have that. But there it is, right? I had to get an MRI once. Oh my God, what a humiliating experience. They had to get me in the special big person MRI machine. And then, even though they were putting me in that, and our hospital had was a Center for Bariatric Excellence, and I was being sent to that MRI in preparation for various things, they didn't have a gown that would fit me. They had to get 2 gowns and some packing tape and tape it together. And I called the nurse manager and I complained and I said, look, this is supposed to be a Center for Bariatric Excellence and you're taping 2 gowns together? Come on. You're humiliating me or allowing me to experience shame and humiliation because you haven't prepared as a Center for Bariatric Excellence. I never really took that very far. Sometimes you got to let it go. But I did make mention of it. All right, so I've talked as fast as I could. Here I am, still 35 minutes in. And where am I today? Right before the surgery, when my mom was still alive, I wish she had gotten to see me today. I miss her. It's been almost 4 years. About 6 months or so after my mom died, November 2017, I'm somewhere around the 270s at this point. I'm thinking I look pretty good, right? I've lost 120 pounds, somewhere around there. I started dating this guy, and we dated for a year and a half. And he's a good man. We're still friends to this day, but we're not, we're different in certain areas, and, it just didn't end up working out. And I actually was the one to end that because I realized it wasn't going to work, and I wanted to be loved. And sometimes, no matter how good people are and how much they enjoy each other, love just doesn't come for whatever reason. It is what it is. I don't blame him. I'm not upset with him. In fact, I'm glad I had the relationship and his friendship, because it prepared me for the next relationship I would have. And I, made a decision that I wasn't going to settle for what I had. I wanted what I wanted.